Okay, I've got the carburetor off. I still need to do a few things to this mower while it's disassembled. I've got the oil level correct now. Let me get my gloves on so I can begin to work on some of these other issues. I think that the rewinder up there is going to have to be corrected. Okay, I just installed it with this little screw up here, but I'm going to pull it off. I got to do something about that little piece of plastic there. Either reinstall it or repair that. I'm looking for spiders right now. I don't see any that want to get me. There's a feather up in there. I don't know what that means. Let's see. I messed up this here. See that? That just fell out. That's going to get in the way and cause problems. So I'm going to figure out why this thing is misshapen and not doing what it's supposed to. You see the Briggs and Stratton logo on it. Look at you and figure out why you're this way. Now you can actually operate these without this piece, but since I've got it and it doesn't appear to be damaged, I'm going to go ahead and try and reinstall it. I'm going to figure out where the little slots are for this thing. Let's see. So these little tabs have to go in on a certain spot. And I think I see one right there. That one lines up there. Let's see if I can get this one to go in now. That one's gone in. Now that one's in, and so that appears to be installed correctly now. Push on it. All right, and now we pull the cord and make sure it's okay. So that may be okay. There's not much that holds that thing in place except those silly little tabs. So I think what I'm going to do is I got to clean this tank out. So I'm going to step away from the camera for a minute and slosh around some good fuel and see if it drains all right. So the tank does drain okay. So I'll put some good fuel in here now. I just need to drain it out. I'm gonna drain it in my old fuel tank here. It holds old gas, not new gas, but old gas. So that fuel is nice and clear. It's not yellow, not old. This is some that I just recently purchased, and I've got the Briggs and Stratton fuel stabilizer in it. Should stay a little fresher than normal. Of course, it's ethanol free for sure. And now let me look and make sure the clip is in there. It is. Question is, do I want to mess with this now and try and clean this up? We'll just stick one on here that I think will be okay. I think I'll try and clean this later. Let me go and get another carburetor. I think I actually took this carburetor off the mower that I borrowed the front wheel assembly off of, because it was horribly damaged. They hit something really bad with that, and I could have attempted to try and straighten the crankshaft, but it was super bad, so I did not do that. I just stripped her down and saved parts, which is what this is. That's the carburetor. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll clean the tank. And as you guys watch my videos, you know I install the tank and the carburetor as a unit. So I'm going to attach that on there. That's good. Now I'm going to slide the hose clamp over into its position. I always like to check and make sure I've got my little gasket in there and the retaining clip, the white retaining clip. And so now I'm going to connect the automatic governor arm to that carburetor, angle it in, lift up my breather tube, slide this under, oh yeah, I gotta put this little white breather over here in this notch, in this bracket. Okay, so now it's starting to line up pretty good. It's dry, so I'm going to put a little WD-40 or some kind of oil product just to help that slide on there. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so now I'm pushing and wiggling, and see it just slides right on there. And that little plastic jet is, I think, in the correct position. And now I can install this tank. Stretch it up. There we go. Now sometimes, you see it tried to pop out. That white jet will try to pop out when you do that, so you got to push it back in. Come on, you. Something tougher than my thumb. Hang on. I got to come straight at it. This big old wrench. See if I can get that under there. Shoot. It's not wanting to go in there. I'm going to try a screwdriver. Try that. Right on the tippy tip of that and lever it in there. Okay, that's it. It's nice and fine. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you put this in, that white plastic piece slides in on that groove, but then it'll pop out as you install this tank if you're not careful. And it did. Sometimes they go on, sometimes they don't, but just pay attention to that and push it back in place if it does. So everything is looking good there. All right, I need to get a halfway decent, clean air filter plate, and this one is nasty looking. Let's see, I don't think that's the one I originally had on there. There we go. That's the original one right there. This one's even worse. So let me take a quick look at this, and I'm going to clean around with a little screwdriver and get some of the major gunk off of here. So I'm just scraping around circles, getting up in all these little corners of this where that air filter goes. That is super dirty. I just want to clean some of this grunge out, you know. Get those old air filter chunks out. That bulb needs to have room to move when you squeeze it and press it. I can't really even hardly see what I'm doing here, but I sort of know where I'm pushing and probing, trying to get this stuff out. So it's looking a little better. All right. I think what I'll try now is I'm gonna try this whisk broom, because it'll kind of reach up in there. Just dig around, you know. Dig it around in there. Because you gotta kind of knock it loose, you know. There's just some real gunky mess up in there. Now this has to seal nice and tight against that rubber. So I want to get a little paper towel here. It's not clean, but I want to get that on there. Okay, and now get another paper towel that's sort of clean, and I'm going to clean around this guy where it's going to attach. So that's where that gasket's going to be, right there. And this thing around the inside of that. Oh yeah, there's some major dirt. I want to scrape that out. Okay, and now the question is this going to prime? Is the primer bulb going to work? So I'm going to put this up to my cheek and push. And see, I can hear air. Whoosh, whoosh. I can hear that, so that means it's going to work. It doesn't push fuel, it pushes air. All right, so now I'm going to put this guy on. I'm going to make sure that this crankcase vent is hooked up to this. I don't want to be sucking any more dirt than it's already been sucked into this poor mower's sad life. So I'm lifting up, and I'm trying to put that crankcase tube on there. And it is, see? It's on. It's pushed onto the back there. So now I can begin to attach this carburetor, and I'm going to do that. I need my two silver, little tiny silver shaft screws that look like that. That's what was in there. 9/32, and try to get them going. Make sure, I want to look and make sure the hole here is lined up with the holes in the carburetor. So I need my little flashlight for that, which is of course hard to find, but there it is. I think I see the one on the bottom for sure. Let me see if I can get this one started on the bottom. Yeah, that's going in, so that means the other one is probably there. There's just so much dirt on this carburetor that it's not even allowing me to see that. That's going in. I do not want to over torque this, so I've got it where it's just going to stop as soon as it slugs up. So there's that one. And now I do this one more. Okay, that's it. See, very light. Now I need my 5/16 screws. There's one. There's two. And they go on both sides. One's on the inside of the rectangle, and the other one's on the outside of that rectangle. So let me get, in this case, I'm going to start them. Sometimes I start them with the magnet. I'm going to try starting this with actual socket. Oops, maybe I should have used the magnet. So let me try that. Okay, here's my magnet. If I can just get a few threads started with this magnet where it stays, see it doesn't want to stay, I'm turning it. Okay, now it's staying, so now I can use this and turn it. All right, before I tighten that, I'm going to get the other one going. All right. That's going pretty good. Now these are going in the middle, so I'm not worried about it stripping out the plastic of the carburetor. I'm going to go couple of clicks for torque. There's one. There's the other one. And let me see if that's changed. It's changed the tension on these 9/32 screws. Okay, that one's still tight. That one's still tight, okay. All right, we're doing everything right. The question is it gonna start? And I don't think I'm gonna install the air filter or anything like that. We're just gonna see if this thing's gonna start here in a minute. I do need to check the plug and make sure that it's not all gummed up. And make sure that the gap is correct. Oh, it wasn't even tight, so I'm so glad I did that. See, this spark plug is just, it was just laying in there. It wasn't tight at all. I'm surprised I had good compression. Okay, that looks like it's damp. Let me check the gap on this guy. Before I put it in and tighten it up. Okay, the gap looks to be almost perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back in and hope that it's a good plug. I don't have any reason to think that it wouldn't be a good plug. He's not wanting to go in right now. He's not be doing it at the right angle. There we go, I think. No. Let me try it by hand because it's not going in. Okay, now it's going in. You don't want to over tighten these plugs, but they got to be snug, otherwise you'll be blowing compression around the outside edges of them. Okay. Now there's one of my ratchet wrenches. Let me put this on here, get this thing snugged up. Okay, here we go. It should be snug enough. All right, I'm still not ready to attach a spark plug wire because I want to go ahead and put a blade on this mower. We're getting ready to test this thing. This mower takes a bag, so you kind of have to clear that louver back there for it to tilt back and be okay. All right. I'm just looking at this guy and thinking. Anyway, if you'll stay tuned, I'm going to install a blade on this thing when you come back.